Idris here from Just Another Night, and as always with me I've got Curtis.
Hello.
So we're back again with another podcast, and today we're doing where we sort of left off from the last one, and that is remasters, remakes and sequels on games we want to see in the future. So the first one we got did have a sequel made for it, and that is Prototype. Probably one of my favourite games from back in the day. Definitely love the first one more than I love the second one.
Yeah, the first one was better. I think the story it didn't so much make more sense. I think the story for the second one made a lot more sense, but the first one, it had so many like twists and bends that it was just like, oh damn.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it was definitely a hell of a lot of fun to play. But that's why I'd like to see another sequel to it. Like, I wouldn't want them to reboot it, if that makes sense, because they'll end up changing some of the sort of aspects. But if they made a sequel and kept the same sort of gameplay style, I think that'd be pretty sick.
I want the entirety of the Jak and Daxter trilogy remade. And when I say remade, I don't just mean push it onto the next generation. I mean fully remade, graphics intensified, and just everything getting better.
Right. I can't comment much on Jak and Daxter because I did play but never heavily. So I kind of like dabbled in it here and there. I'm not big on the story or the franchise as a whole just because I never really invested time into it.
You know what, right? If you get the time, even if you don't want to go through and play all the games, that's absolutely fine. I don't mind because they are long. Like, you would literally waste like 17 hours of your life. If you go on YouTube, there's a channel somewhere that basically posted every single cinematic scene from all the Jak and Daxter games and put them together as a movie.
Right.
So I would recommend watching that.
Just going back and watching the entire thing.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half, mate. It's basically a movie, and it is literally just called like Jak and Daxter the movie, because they've just put all of the cinematic scenes from all three games in the trilogy. And my god, is it worth it. Like, the story alone was incredible. The actual gameplay was just, it was fun. Like, I played it as a kid, and then I remember they remastered it on PlayStation 3. I think I was like 15, 16 at this point. And then at the end of my school day, I went into a game station, literally just walked up to the counter, and I was like, any chance you got the new Jak and Daxter in then? And he just looked at me and went, how did you know this was coming out? I didn't know this came out, and I work here. And I was just there, like, I've been following it for like 2 years, and he was like, are you joking? Like, why have you been doing that? And it kind of made me feel like, maybe I'm the only one that loves this franchise, but I do love it.
Yeah, I've just never gotten into them.
I don't want a sequel.
Okay. So you just want them remastered?
Yes. They basically, what they did is they did release a couple of sequels.
Okay.
They just weren't worth it.
Right.
So there's a big story point between Jak 1 and then Jak and Daxter 2. So it's called like Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, and then Jak and Daxter 2 and 3. It's just called Jak. So it's like Jak 2, Jak 3. So between Jak and Daxter and the Precursor Legacy and Jak 2, basically there's 2 years between the games.
Right.
And during these 2 years, Daxter disappears. So they released a spin-off game called Daxter, which is based in those 2 years, and that's only on the PSP.
Okay.
Basically, Daxter becomes an exterminator, which is jokes. That one, genuinely, I rate it. Good game.
Fair enough.
Then at the end of the trilogy, they released Jak X, which was a racing game.
Okay, I played a bit.
Yeah, appalling. Hated it. Just absolutely hated it. And then they released another one for the PS Vita, and it was called Jak and Daxter and the Lost Frontier, and we never talk about it. It is not canon. It does not fit. Like, it wasn't made by Naughty Dog. They sold it to someone else, and they made the game, and my god, was it horrible. Like, Jak didn't even look like Jak.
I've had a lot more fun with Skate. To be honest, it's just so smooth.
So I think, historically, I've had more fun with Pro Skater. Mainly because I played Pro Skater as a kid. Like, I remember I had it on the PlayStation 1, I had it on the PlayStation 2, and I didn't get Skate until the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Like, Skate does feel a lot smoother, it runs a lot better, and I do quite like it. I am, however, really tempted to go and buy Pro Skater 1 and 2. They just remastered.
They did. It has been rumoured that they potentially will offer it for free with PlayStation Plus in the next month.
Okay, I'll wait a month.
So, I would recommend waiting a little while to see what they do with that, because they apparently really want to push the sales on Pro Skater 1 and 2.
I mean, to be fair, mate, I'm like white girl broke. Like, fully. It's like I've spent all of my money on lipstick, candy, and WKD Blue.
Well, what he may say is he spent all his money on a keyboard, mouse, and other random bits and bobs.
No, the keyboard was only like 25 quid.
But yeah, so for me, it's quite funny because you came out with the Dead franchise video, and literally a day later they announced Skate 4,
Yep.
And Skate 4 is something I've been waiting on for such a long time.
And they also announced Pro Skater.
I know, remastered 1 and 2, which was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think there was 2 other games in there as well that within 3 months of me releasing that video, they just turned it. Yep, new Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia.
And
wasn't Crash Bandicoot or Spyro or something one of the others?
No, I didn't put either of those in because I don't think they're franchises. Like they remastered Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, and they banged with sales.
Yeah.
There was another one though. I just can't really remember what it was off the top of my head.
But yeah, for me, like, there's very few skateboarding games out there that were really smooth, really fluent, and had a lot of sort of free play to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Skate 3 was one of those ones.
And same as like the triggers. They weren't triggers. They were buttons.
Yeah.
Just on the back.
But back then, it was always buttons up until the point of like the Xbox 360, I think. I think that was the first console that actually had triggers.
Yeah, it was, because I remember... do you remember the PlayStation 3?
Yes.
You could go into the shops and you could buy... It was literally branded as PlayStation 3 real triggers. Because the triggers that they had were really, really bad, and they made them so awful that they actually released
so when you press them down, your finger would slip off of them quite often because it was just that flat edge to it.
So then they ended up just releasing the real triggers. We'll find a picture and we'll just post it here of the real triggers in their packaging because it's just jokes, honestly. So funny.
I remember Game Station's own accessories and stuff. They're absolutely hilarious.
Man, I miss Game Station so much. It makes me so angry that Game kind of
bought them out.
Yeah, and then they just dissolved. Petrol's
so expensive. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, that's one good thing that came with lockdown. Petrol prices dropped, but then you weren't driving as much.
Yeah, I know. It's just... What happened here? The whole world's on fire, but it's alright because we can get cheap petrol to set it more alight. It's nice.
It works out, it balances out somehow.
What were we talking about?
Remastered games, that was it.
Same.
So, okay, next one that I don't think Curtis has played.
No, I haven't
but
played this.
Disney Infinity.
I'm going to just sit back and let Idris talk, because I have no idea anything about this game.
So the reason why I picked up Disney Infinity was because they turned around and they did the Marvel version. But the great thing about it is that you have a platform, you plug into your Xbox, you get figures, you then put those figures on the platform and they pop up in-game.
That's Skylanders.
Yeah, but Disney Infinity, I think Disney Infinity came first. I can't remember which one came first, but my reasoning for getting Disney Infinity was purely because they had the Marvel stuff.
Okay, fair.
So I've got the pack downstairs on my Xbox 360, and I'm pretty sure it's cross-compatible onto Xbox One now. But it was such a great open-world sandbox game, so you could make up games within it, if that makes sense.
I was going to say, I don't know if you can use the term open-world sandbox.
Well, okay, so you had your open-world game,
right?
But you also had the option of doing a sandbox mode.
Okay.
So you could make your own city, you could make your own tracks and things like that. But you'd be able to collect all the figures, and that was the novelty thing about it.
Okay. We've got a list in front of us, which is kind of why it looks like we're just consistently looking at a computer. But I'm going to go off list.
Okay.
Guitar Hero. Yeah. Bring it back. Don't bring back the new one. Bring back the old ones.
There's a bit of an addiction to Guitar Hero in this house.
Yeah. That's completely my fault. Like
I don't care, mate. Like, it was the first time I played it and I freaking enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a good game. Good game. It's
So,
Guitar
like-
Hero Vision. That's what I love. You know, when you've played for about 4 or 5 hours at a time, and then as soon as you stop playing, the whole world is scrolling. It's amazing.
Yeah, so basically what happened was we all moved into this house. In the living room, the only console we got down there is the Wii. And I can't remember why, but one day as we started playing Guitar Hero, when you were playing it, I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try. It's my first time. I absolutely hated it.
Yeah, it was fun.
But then the next day I was playing it again. Like, it is a lot, like, it's the challenging thing about it, which is what I kind of like. Because the moment you get the patterns down and the rhythm down, like, it's actually a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, I think it's a really easy game. Like, I don't understand why people get so like butthurt over it.
Says the dude who plays on like the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, but it's easy. To be fair though, I have been playing it since, but you're lying. You're absolutely 100% lying if you try and say that you do not care about Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
Because we all care about Grand Theft Auto 6. When is it coming out? Stop doing what Elder Scrolls have done. Stop just re-releasing it on every single console. Like, don't get me wrong, they have done better. With Skyrim, it's just the same thing, release over and over again. At least with GTA, they're consistently updating their online section.
Yeah, that's the only benefit GTA 5 has, and that's